This is my Magicka Necromancer Battlegrounds support build, updated for the High Isle patch. This build specializes in enemy suppression by providing lots of crowd control and enemy debuffs, and of course it has plenty of healing power, good sustain, mobility, everything you need to carry your team to success. This has been one of my favorite builds to play with this patch because it's perfect for dealing with this high damage Oak and Soul meta that we're in. The gear is Wretched Vitality on the body, Kin Marcher's Cruelty on the jewelry and front bar weapon, Maelstrom Resto on the back bar, Gaze of Sithis Mythic Helm, and One Piece Magma Incarnate. 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, all divines with tri-stat glyphs on all 7 pieces, and the jewelry is all swift with spell damage glyphs. The front bar weapon is a charged Frost Staff with a Frost glyph, and the back bar weapon is the Maelstrom Resto with the powered trait and a weakening glyph. For the skill bars, the front bar is mostly about crowd control with Razor Caltrops, Remote Totem, and Blockade of Frost. I basically just spam those wherever I go. I also have Radiant Mage Light to deal with Nightblades, which I think is mandatory this patch. There's a lot of really nasty Nightblades out there. I also have Crushing Shock and the Eye of the Storm ultimate just to add a little offensive pressure when healing isn't really needed and we just want to get some more kills. And my healing abilities are Resistant Flesh, the Intensive Mender, Radiating Regen, and the Life Giver Resto ultimate. I also have the Summoner's Armor buff and Race Against Time for the mobility. The race is Argonian, although just about any race will work just fine, using the Apprentice Mundus Stone, Bewitched Sugar Skulls for the food, and Spell Power Potions. Here's a look at the stats. I'll also put a UESP link in the description, so if you want to take a closer look, you can do that there. I'm putting all points into Magicka, which puts my max Magicka at 28,000. Health is almost 32,000, stamina is 20,000. I have 2,000 Magicka recovery, 1,500 stam recovery, and 1,000 health recovery. The offensive stats aren't really that important because this isn't an offensively spec'd build, but we do have 4,100 spell damage, 27% crit, and 6,000 penetration. And the defensive stats might be a little low for some people's liking, especially for a healer, so if you want, you can certainly craft Wretched Vitality in heavy if you like, and that'll make you a lot tankier. But you will be sacrificing some sustain, some mobility, and the little bit of firepower that we do have. So it's really just a matter of preference. Either way you go is going to work just fine, but I prefer light armor. For the strategy, first of all, you want to make sure that as you're casting abilities, be sure to pick out a target and light attack weave on them while you're casting, because those light attacks are going to proc your Kin Marcher set, which is very important. You also want to make sure that you're within range to proc Kin Marcher, so get up in the mix of things. Don't just hang back and heal from afar. You want to kind of get up in the middle of the melee. Make sure that your enemies are always standing in your CC ground effects, Caltrops, Remote Totem, and Wall of Frost. You can also use those abilities for zoning purposes, like if you want to discourage enemies from taking certain paths or entering certain areas, you can kind of be creative like that. Also, if an enemy is running away or if they're chasing you down, you can use those abilities to slow them down and give yourself the upper hand in that way. Also, remember to take advantage of the movement speed that you're getting from Race Against Time and your Swift Jewelry. Since this is a light armor build, you really want to lean on that mobility and positioning to help yourself stay alive. Make sure that Radiating Regen and the Intensive Mender are always active, especially the Intensive Mender. That's your most important ability. It tosses out a big burst heal automatically every 2 seconds to whoever needs it. So it's doing a lot of the work for you. Plus it helps with sustain because it activates the Undead Confederate passive. Focus heal with Resistant Flesh when needed, and of course use the Resto ult in emergencies. If not much healing is needed, then just place your AoEs on the ground and help focus targets with Crushing Shock and Eye of the Storm. And that's the end of the video. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to share, feel free to leave a comment or email me at ketsparrowhawk@gmail.com. Until next time, good luck out there.